Buenos días.
Check my phone.
Yo soy Brian de parte de Salva. Vamos a hablar un poco de COVID. En un momento, mi ayudante aquí. How do you say coworker in Spanish?
Who?
How do you say coworker in Spanish?
I don't know. Mi compañero.
Mi compañero, no mi ayudante. Vamos a hablar de COVID. Y... ¿Sí?
Yeah. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Cesar. I'm with my coworker here, Brian. We're going to be talking about COVID-19 updates on a lot more on the LA County side, but we'll be discussing actually, we'll go into that right now. I'll just show you.
Le vamos a enseñar lo que vamos a hacer. Vamos a ir en línea para encontrar una cosa. Vamos a ir a la lacountyhealth.com y aquí vamos a enseñar cómo lo vamos a hacer.
Okay, so if you don't know where to find the information, I can show you. Once you go into your browser source, which I'm using Google right now, just type in LA County Health Department, as well as just put in COVID so you can take you directly to the COVID section. It's usually the first site unless you got ads, but you would go into a website like this. Now, if you, of course, since this is a Spanish community, si usted necesita en español, aquí hay como 20 idiomas que tú puedes usar. Y aquí está en español. So tú puedes cambiar la página para tener todo en español. So if you need that all in Spanish, you just go to like one of the 20 languages. And then it'll change the whole entire website. So anyways, let's get to it. So the first information that we're going to talk about that's located right here on the public health website is best practices for business. Why? Because we're a business ourselves. Like, although we're a nonprofit, we run just like a business. And there's plenty of topics here that we would like to discuss for the people to get an understanding. Again, responding to the workplace of COVID. If you guys remember, earlier in the year, we were running at half capacity in the office because some of our staff had contracted COVID. Me as an example too as well. Like, we were stuck with running with 4 people just in the office, and we had to cancel some events at the time. Everything's better. We became better at our job and working different practices in order to avoid that in the future. But if Brian would like here to read the summary for us.
Summary, employers are required to investigate and respond to any COVID-19 cases in the workplace as outlined by Cal OSHA COVID-19 prevention. Emergency Temporary Standards, or ETS, as approved, the full text of these standards appears under the Title 8 sections 3205 to 3205.4. Of the California Code of Regulations. The following are guidelines to support employers responding to COVID-19 cases identified in non-healthcare and non-residential work sites.
Cool. And if you need more information on that, of course, it's still on the website here. And there's a lot of different topics right here on the side too as well that you can take onto. This is more of a table of contents area, and it gives you an outbreak response, like what you're supposed to do as an employer. So as an employer, you're required to report any cluster worksite COVID-19 cases. A cluster is when there's 3 or more laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19 were reported at the worksite within a 14-day period. Reports to the LAC-DPH should be made as soon as possible and no later than 48 hours after reports of knowledge of at least 3 cases to the LAC-DPH online or by phone at that number at 188-397-3993. I'm not gonna go through the rest of that, but it's just more of the same information that I was just listing right now. And of course, if you need definitions for each of these things of what's considered a COVID-19 case, close contact, fully vaccinated, it's all located right here, and you can expand on each of the things right here. And of course, again, if you need this information in Spanish, you can click onto the little button right there that says View in Spanish. But anyways, we're gonna continue this in English. Let's see. Have you gone through this one?
We have not.
No? Okay, so want to continue going?
Yeah, responding to COVID-19 in the workplaces, employers should have procedures in place for seeking information from employees related to COVID-19 cases and close contacts in the workplace. This includes collecting and keeping records of all COVID-19 cases, their date of symptom onset, COVID-19 testing dates and results, last day present at workplace, and their workplace close contacts. Once a case is identified at the workplace, the employer should make sure the case follows isolation instructions and does not return to work until their isolation is completed. Determine how many have been close contacts of the case at the workplace. This includes assessing the case's activities and workplace locations while they were infectious. Inform all close contacts in the workplace via written notice of their exposure within 1 business day and provide instructions. You can always review the best practices in the workplace to prevent the spread of COVID-19 at that link to double check to reduce further workplace exposures to COVID-19. They should also report a potential outbreak to LACDPH if 3 or more cases of COVID-19 are known or reported among employees within a 14-day period. They should report online or by phone at 1-888-397-3993, and you can see the Outbreak Response for more information as well.
Cool. And if you need any more information on returns to the exclusion or return to work requirements, there is a PDF here, which I will click right now. And it takes you to a slideshow, or actually, it's just a single page, of like kind of practices and what what employers need to know about COVID-19 isolation and quarantine, and then like emergency temporary standards, which each include their own hyperlinks. With a whole topic section right here that you can just skip onto. It's a lot of reading, but it's it's very important information if you're running a business yourself, and you need to understand like what is required of your for yourself. And anyways, there is COVID-19 infection prevention guidance healthcare as well, included with another hyperlink, and it takes you same website. It's just another different part of it. It gives you a summary of recent changes and how to contact the ACDC for in case any key points that are more important for yourself, but that's more of yourself if you want to take the time to look into the different sections to get more informed. Employee must wear a highly protective mask around others for a total of 10 days after testing positive, especially in indoor settings. That's the situation that we had with us after a weekend when everyone had came by together. We were all fully masked, but the transmission had came from like at home studies. So that's what ended up causing the outbreak within our office. But then again, it got contained. Nobody else got sick or hurt, or we got sick, but nobody else like experienced anything too drastic. And course, there is an instruction guide here on what to do once you are in isolation. It comes with PDFs, English and Spanish, and there is more information on how to do that at home, which again, it's more of a slide, two pages, as well as a QR code at the end for more information on when it comes to COVID isolation. Let me see. And I'm going to go back to the original page. There you go.
Some notes to count the days for symptomatic employees, the people that are showing symptoms and are being affected. Day 0 is the first day of the symptoms, and day 1 is the first full day after the symptoms have been developed, like the cough, the soreness of the body, fatigue, all that. And then for employees without symptoms, like the asymptomatic, day 0 is the day of the first positive test that was collected, and day 1 is the first full day after the positive test was collected. The test must be an FDA authorized viral test, such as an antigen or an NAAT PCR test. And we do have a couple. For example, this is one that we're commonly known for, and we also have this one. An antigen test is preferred. Testing must be provided by employer free of charge and during work hours. Tests may not be both self-administered and self-read unless they are observed by the employer or an authorized telehealth proctor. For more information, see Cal OSHA testing frequently asked questions. And employers may require employees to submit viral testing for COVID-19, and you can refer to the frequently asked question DEFH PDF for further information.
Now, a quick input for these tests. These are all antigen rapid tests. That's the only ones that we do provide. And if you are in the Palmdale area and you require a PCR test, there is testing that's provided for free at home and tests that are performed on site at the Hammock House that is located on. I can look it up for you right now. The Hammock location, not the Hammock House Center. There you go. So if you type on Google, you can type in Hammock Center COVID testing Palmdale, and if you go on the Palmdale website, it will give you a list of different locations where they offer the testing COVID, which they also do at the Jethawk Stadium, which you would need to this one right here you would need to register, but for the free testing pickups in the Hammock Center, no appointment is necessary. What was that?
Right there.
Oh, that's the wrong page. Okay. And again, this is a quick input. Every Wednesday we do offer free PPE distribution. PPE, what does that signify? What does that signify? That is masks, wipes, tests, what else?
Hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizers as well. We have a lot. If you need some for your business, family, or just like people that you want to hand out on the streets, you are more than welcome to come every Wednesday between the hours of 10 to 12 at our office location. Let me see. So, always included from the work. Okay, so you want to go through that one?
Yeah, I can go. So, for the persons who are exposed to someone with COVID-19 who must be excluded from work and the requirements, these requirements apply to employees who are not up to date with their COVID-19 vaccinations, unvaccinated, not fully vaccinated, or fully vaccinated and booster eligible but not have yet received their booster dose. Employees excluded from workplace for at least 5 days after their last contact with a person who has COVID-19. Test on day 5. If they test positive, they must follow isolation requirements and workplace exclusions on Table 1. The exposed employees may return to the workplace after day 5 only if symptoms are not present and a viral test collected on day 5 or later is negative. If an employee is unable to choose not to test and does not have symptoms, the employee may return to the workplace after day 10. The employee must monitor their health for 10 days. If symptoms develop, they must stay home and be excluded from work pending the results of the test. If they test positive, they must follow isolation requirements and workplace exclusions in Table 1. Employee must wear a highly protective mask around others for a total of 10 days after exposure. Especially in indoor settings, employers must provide at no expense to the employee a well-fitting medical mask or well-fitting respirator, for example, like an N95, KN95, or a KF94. And in the PDF, see Wear a Mask and Know Your Rights.
So on this page, it gives you clear picture examples on what type of mask that they are asking for. Can't drag it on the other side, but I can just make it bigger. Also, thank you, Juan Claudio Pacheco. God bless you, so. I'm glad you know there's people watching. Let me see. So, the masks that he listed right now, N95 and KN95 and K94. What do those look like? They kind of look like that big duckbill thing. They're great. They're the most effective masks, and especially because of their fit tested. Now, the other best practice, which although it does produce a little bit of waste, it is one of the most effective ones if you don't have those type of masks, and that is double masking. What is double masking? That's either a medical mask like these ones right here, and as well as a cloth mask. Or you could probably put in 2 of the medical masks as well. That works fine too as well because it's a double layer. You have medical mask fitting as well with a brace. It's another kind of attachment that you would, it keeps it well attached to your face without like any air escaping or any movement. Because if you mess with masks, they kind of move around, or you have to like adjust them every now and then. So that keeps it well fit in place. And if you are going to use a cloth mask, it's recommended to use a high filtration cloth mask and medical masks that are not fitted. So these ones are kind of like the least effective ones, but it's still better to have one over not having a mask at all.
Something is better than nothing, basically.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, filter names. Why is the K95, K94 the best one? Because it filters 94% of the mask. as well as N95 and KN95, which is set 95%. Best filtration, compared to these ones. But they are more expensive and they are prone to, what is it called?
To airborne.
No, for when they're reselling.
Oh.
No, it's not poaching. But people would resell these type of masks at a much higher price, which is recommended to just stock up, when cases are down. So by the time they do rise up, you are prepared with something in your thing.
Like right now, the COVID cases are coming up again, so it is advised to probably stock up on some masks. If even just the medical ones that we have right now, like we said, something is better than nothing.
And again, if you need these type of masks, right now we are stacked in both the surgical masks as well as N95s at our office location for every Wednesday if you need some. Again, so that was in the PDF. Some notes: the day one is the first full day after the last exposure. The test must be FDA authorized viral test, which again, these ones are not. They say in the bottom right that they are not. Let me see. They are only authorized for emergency use only. But that's more because they're a rapid test. Here you go. See, testing must be provided by an employer free of charge, and during work hours, tests may not be self-administered and self-read unless they are observed by the employer and an authorized telehealth proctor. For more information, see Cal OSHA testing facts. Let's see, which we can actually look at right now for a bit. We have time. This just gives you more information on what's required. How can an employer with testing requirement? Does the employer have to provide testing to employees at their work location? Etc. etc. So if you feel that you are being discriminated in some way or not getting the full rights to your COVID health safety, please review this and then contact some of the LA County Health Department as soon as possible. Let me see. That was the one that we just finished.
Yeah,
okay.
Table 2.
Cool.
So Table 3 is for employees who are close contacts and do not need to be excluded from work. Persons who are exposed to someone with COVID, no work exclusions required. These requirements apply to the employees who have no symptoms and are up to date on all COVID-19 vaccines, fully vaccinated and booster, or fully vaccinated but not yet booster eligible, or recently recovered from COVID-19. Employees should test on day 5 if the test is positive. Oh, it's a little bit similar to the one before, but still, employees should test on day 5 if they test positive. They must follow isolation requirements and workplace exclusion in Table 1. Per Cal OSHA, if a vaccinated...
Oh, my bad.
No worries.
Yeah.
Cal OSHA, if vaccinated close contact cannot be tested on day 5. They must wear a mask and maintain 6 feet of distance from others in the workplace for 14 days. Employees who have recently recovered from COVID-19 do not need to be tested. Employees should monitor their health for 10 days, like on Table 2. If symptoms develop, they must be excluded pending the result of a test if they test positive. Follow isolation requirements and workplace exclusions in Table 1. Employee must wear a highly protective mask around others for a total of 10 days after exposure, especially in indoor settings. So a little bit of a refresher from Table 2. And the same notes as Table 2 with the first day of exposure and FDA authorized and everything like that.
So testing. States and employers must offer testing at no cost. Remember that, no cost. Your employer should not be charging you for these tests at all. All employers with COVID-19 systems who are not fully vaccinated. Employees during paid time too. Yes. So employees who had close contact at work with an exemption for symptom-free employees who recently recovered from COVID-19. All employees with an exposed group during an outbreak at least once or twice per week, depending on the magnitude of the outbreak, except for employees who were not at work during the relevant period, and symptom-free employees who recently recovered from COVID-19. And when following CDBPH and the local health department isolation and quarantine guidance to keep employees working or return them sooner if tested. Employers must provide testing in a manner that ensures employee confidentiality. Remember that confidentiality is the most important thing with that. So testing resources, like I've included before, there is local testing at the Hammock Center in Palmdale, as well as the Jethawk Stadium that's located off the freeway on I in Lancaster. If you need that information, again, just type in City of Palmdale COVID testing.
There is additional information where you can go to Cal OSHA, COVID-19 Prevention Emergency Temporary Standards, or ETS. COVID-19 ETS frequently asked questions in both English and Spanish. And then there's the LACDPH, best practices in the workplace to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Instructions for close contacts to COVID-19, the link's right there. Home isolation instructions for people with COVID-19. Return to work guidelines for employees who develop systemic symptoms post-vaccination. And COVID-19, learn about symptoms and what to do if you are sick. The link, related posters for workplace in English and Spanish.
And that's it for this section. And again, if you need, si necesitas esta información en español, tú puedes ir arriba aquí, donde dicen ver página en español. Y tú puedes venir, mirar toda esta información en español también. Sí.
Thank you for your time. Muchas gracias por su tiempo.
Sí. I'm gonna go back to the main page.
If you want, yeah.
There you go. How much time do we have?
That was 20.
That was 20?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't?
No. But anyways, yes. Again, thank you for your time, everyone. We will be back with more information. We're just going through section by section, divided it into 20 minutes each per section. Let's do not, collude like all the information together.
Or overwhelm you too much.
Exactly. So anyways, thank you. We will come back soon enough and see you soon.